everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my creation for the hashtag Makers Creative Collab for the month of August, and the theme this month is See Me, Ya See. So here you're seeing me, and this is my interpretation for the prompt, and I'm gonna bring it down to view it, and I'll explain what I did here. This is a video for the hashtag Makers Creative Collab hosted by PM Artist Studio. And the theme this month was See Me, Ya See. I went pretty literal with this. As it was time to sign up, I was preparing to go on vacation to Prince Edward Island, where we go fairly regularly for the past 20 or so years, as I have a family that lives there. So all of these items are things I collected at the beach. The rocks in PEI, the dirt is very red. I'm going to show some reference photos that I took. So, you know, there's lots of driftwood, there's oysters, didn't put any mussels on this. There's sea glass. These sea glass here, I didn't actually collect this time around. I didn't find any this time, but I have collected them over the years there. And this represents, you'll often see like people make little stacked stones. So that's what that represents. This is just, you know, beach combing. You find interesting things. I had a lot of fun watching the seagulls this time around. So I mentioned the inspiration about this piece, and I decided to come inside because it was getting very windy out. And I'm just going to discuss a little bit more about this piece. So those items that I talked about finding at the beach, I just glued them on once the base was done with just some hot glue. And I'm hoping to do a process video that I'll show you more details about how I did this. Basically, this canvas is the largest I've ever worked on. Is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I just bought it at Michael's. It's not super expensive. I bought it years ago. I don't use canvases much, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to use that, especially given the scale of the items I found at the beach. I didn't want the area to be too small, and I couldn't put these in a journal because they're quite chunky. Anyhow, it is a medium texture cotton duck double primed with acrylic titanium gesso canvas. So my plan had been to jelly print directly onto the canvas. I'd seen Ceri the Crafter do a video about that, and it looked interesting. However, I think it's a lot drier where I live, and I just wasn't getting good success with that. It's something I might revisit. So some of the base prints here were done directly on the canvas, and I'll show that in my process video, but they were not totally successful. So of the jelly printing directly on the canvas, I thought this was very successful. This is actually flat, and I use this shell, this clam shell that I found in PEI, to make the imprint of that on my jelly plate by rolling it. And then I used some paints to give it the coloration there. So hopefully you'll watch my process video on that. I did end up doing some extra jelly prints on some wet strength Carnival tissue that was sent to me by Eddie Makes Art. Thank you very much, Eddie. I found it worked really well with this canvas. So some of these pieces I added on here, like with this gold. It's very seamless, like you can't tell. There's quite a few pieces added on here, as well as the edges. That's all also the wet strength Carnival tissue. Here and here. It's harder to show you this edge and the top edge. I did use some PM Artist Studio stencils to do some of these. So this one here, this twirly one, that's the fingerprint, I think it's called. And the one with these sort of circles and lines, like on here, that is the, I think it's called Stream stencil. I tried to stick with colors that matched the beach in PEI and the inspiration. And this isn't a, you know, realistic seascape. It's a feeling I get. I was trying to portray the feeling I get being on the edge of the sea, where land and sea and air all meet. And you know, when you're sitting on the beach and you look down at the water coming in, you have the frothy water, you can see some of the sand underneath the waves. So that's what, you know, this is portraying. This piece here, when, you know, I did this sort of piecemeal, I decided to do the top on one piece of Carnival tissue. However, the width of my large jelly plate didn't cover this width here. So I had a piece that was this big. I decided instead of trying to collage beside it, I would just shift it over, wrap it around the side like so, and then add a different element over here. Now, interestingly enough, I had already pulled together some stuff for a sea theme journal, which I haven't had time to do. And in that, I had this print here that I had done using a magazine image transfer technique. And you can see, I'll link the video to that below. And this wasn't a lighthouse that I saw when I was in PEI. However, it is actually, I don't know if you can see that writing there, but it is actually from PEI, so that's kind of interesting. For those of you that don't know, PEI is a province in Canada, and it's an island. There you go. I should mention that as a magazine transfer image, this was taken from a travel magazine, but as such, it's probably still subject to copyright. So I wouldn't be selling this canvas. This is a souvenir. I call it PEI Memories or Memories of PEI. So this is for my personal use. You know, I'll be hanging it in my own house. It's not, I'm not selling it. I guess I just want to add that just to be clear. Yeah, so this piece here, I could have done it directly on the canvas, but I did it on the jelly plate and then decided to adhere it here. To put the wet strength on, I just used matte medium. I'll show that in my process video. Here I wanted also the essence of, you know, when you look at the ocean and you see the sunshine sparkling off the surface. So what I did is I did some layers of metallic and color shift paints on there to get that sort of glowy feeling. This is a video hop for the theme this month, and please check out everybody's videos. Put a link up here to the next video in the hop. I'd like to thank PM Artist Studios for hosting this hop, and if you have a chance to join their Facebook group, Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists, you'll see a lot of other creations done by the non-YouTubers where they use the same theme and they post their work, and it's a very fun place to share your work and to get inspiration from others, learn from others. And if you have a question, you can ask questions there. There's lots of great artists over there that are willing to share their knowledge and inspiration with you. So thanks so much for watching. Have fun at the hop and see ya later.